This is part 2 of a video about the worst animal parents ever. And number 1 is a hamster. It's better to eat a bowl of worms than to be born a hamster. Hamsters are known to eat their babies, and other animals do the same. But why hamsters do it is pretty silly. Here's an example. You are a baby hamster. You have just been born. Welcome to life. A person opens the cage and throws some food in there, too close to where the bald baby hamster has emerged, and then turns off the lights. The mama hamster sniffs the cage looking for food and accidentally eats you. Hamsters' poor eyesight can lead to accidentally eating their offspring. How about this reason? Imagine your mom tells you that parenting is too hard, so she just decides to eat you for dinner instead of serving you dinner. How about this reason? Your mom is stressed out and decides to eat you as a snack. Imagine your own mom's territorial instincts kicking in and she accidentally eats you when you're not doing anything. Or maybe hamsters don't need any reason to eat their babies. Dracula ants. The word Dracula alone should be enough to tell you that not much mother-baby bonding is going on here. But nothing can prepare you for the plight of the young Dracula ant. These tiny insects have the fastest animal jaws in all of nature, but they ironically lack the ability to chew solid foods. So, worker ants in the colony rely on another source for their nutrition instead, their own larvae. To get their fill, they'll go and harvest the fattest larvae, tearing them open and drinking their blood, which they'll later regurgitate for the queen. This bloodthirsty behavior is known as larval hemolymph feeding. That sounds pretty grim to me, but you'll be surprised to learn that it could actually be much worse. You see, this ant's brand of cannibalism is classed as non-destructive. That means that, while the larvae do get partially eaten, they actually survive into adulthood. The mustached tamarin, a small monkey native to the Amazon rainforest in South America, is known for its sociable nature and a rather unconventional parenting technique, throwing its young out of trees when confronted with danger. While this may seem harsh, it serves a crucial purpose of diverting threats away from the mother, potentially increasing her chances of survival. However, this strategy also exposes the young tamarins to risks such as injuries from the fall or attacks by nearby predators. Even though it seems pretty harsh, this behavior shows how much animal parents will go to protect themselves and their young in the wild, where things can get pretty challenging. The Christmas Island red crab goes through something pretty amazing every year. It happens from October to December. About 50 million of these crabs leave their jungle homes and head to the coast to release their eggs into the sea. After mating, each female crab lays about 100,000 eggs. But the spawning process is tied to specific lunar phases and tide conditions, which makes it tough for them to reproduce. Despite the exacting conditions required for their birth, the resulting offspring, once hatched, face an uncertain start to life. They drift in the ocean currents for their first month, and if they're lucky, they may return to Christmas Island. However, if some crabs delay their migration and aim for a later tide, an unusual situation arises. Female crabs that are pregnant and heading to the coast to spawn might run into last month's baby crabs that are coming out of the sea. This creates an unusual pathway going back inland. Instead of helping the newly hatched crabs, the pregnant crabs keep going without helping them. This shows that they don't act like mothers. Yes, that mother crab is eating her tiny offspring like crunchy red popcorn. It's not unusual for pregnant crabs to pause and eat their freshly hatched babies if they feel peckish. What's more concerning is that mother crabs have been observed eating their own offspring when food is scarce. A study from 2007 even showed that there wasn't much difference between crabs that hadn't laid eggs, called non-ovigerous, and those that had recently laid eggs, called ovigerous, in how likely they were to eat their young. Just picture your mom getting rid of your half-siblings so your dad can focus more on you. House sparrows, like many other bird species, have really complex social behaviors, including mating with multiple partners. But competition for parental care and resources can sometimes lead to pretty extreme actions. For instance, a male sparrow might mate with multiple female sparrows, which can result in offspring with different mates. If a female sparrow finds out about this, she might go and visit the nests of other females her partner has mated with and kill their young. This is a pretty unsettling behavior, known as infanticide, which is basically just a way of ensuring that her partner dedicates more time and resources exclusively to her own offspring. While it's understandable to want to prioritize your own offspring, the idea of a mother eliminating half-siblings to secure paternal attention is pretty troubling. I'm sorry to have to tell you that I'm going to ruin the image you have of koalas. A newborn koala, called a joey, looks like a tiny pink jelly bean. It's completely hairless, blind, without ears, and no bigger than 2 centimeters long. It starts its journey from the birth canal to the pouch without any help. Once it's born, the joey attaches itself to its mother's teat and stays there for 6 to 7 months until it gets fur, ears, and opens its eyes. Around 22 weeks, the joey switches from milk to a weird food called pap. This pap isn't your typical poo. It's a special, creamy, super moist substance. This special excretion helps the mother transfer essential microorganisms from her digestive system to her joey, which is important for digesting eucalyptus leaves, which will eventually become the main diet of any koala. At first, the joey leans out of the pouch on the mother's abdomen to eat pap. Then it lies on its belly as it gets older. Once it's big enough to ride on its mother's back, it finally graduates to eating fresh leaves. I guess that's a relief. I can only imagine how tiresome it must be to dine on the same fecal delicacy every day. Hippos are often thought of as dangerous creatures, but they actually have good parenting instincts. Female hippos, called cows, usually give birth once every 2 years, and they usually have 1 calf. It's no surprise that mother hippos are protective of their offspring, even though a baby hippo can swim right away and weigh between 55 and 120 pounds, which is about the same as a large adult dog. Once the calf is born, the mother and her baby will join the other cows and calves to keep them safe from predators like crocs, lions, and hyenas. But sometimes the biggest danger comes from within the group itself. There have been cases where dominant male bulls have attacked and killed younger male hippo calves, thinking they were a threat to their dominance. In a stunning image captured by wildlife photographer Adrian Hershey in 2019, an aggressive bull grasps a newborn hippo in its powerful jaws. On rare occasions, multiple members of the group will assault a calf while the mother watches helplessly. The reasons behind hippos attacking their own young remain largely unknown, as studying them closely poses challenges. Some say that male hippos are especially aware of overpopulation and pod pressure during the dry season, and they know that reducing mouths to feed is important. Have you ever felt like your parent favored your sibling over you? Well, count your blessings, you weren't born a giant panda. These iconic, laid-back creatures are celebrated for their adorable appearance, but they also hold the title for some of the poorest parental care in the animal kingdom. At birth, panda cubs are remarkably vulnerable. Blind, hairless, weighing between 3 to 5 ounces, and about 1/900th the size of their mothers, they rely entirely on maternal care. Panda mothers often give birth to twins, but they often face a dilemma. They rarely care for both cubs. Instead, the mother will select the stronger of the 2 siblings, neglecting the weaker one. Without the love and protection of their mother, the weaker cub's chances of survival are slim. There are a few reasons why pandas tend to favor the stronger cub. Firstly, their diet is based on bamboo, which doesn't provide them with all the essential nutrients they need. Secondly, pandas have to keep their babies close to keep them warm and to nurse them, which means they don't have much time to split their attention between them. So they often make the heart-wrenching choice to abandon one cub in favor of increasing the other's chances of survival. Luckily, abandoned cubs in zoos get the care they need because keepers don't have the same constraints on milk production. It seems that favoritism is a big part of giant panda parenting. Komodo dragons are the heaviest lizards on Earth, reaching lengths of up to 10 feet and weighing over 300 pounds. When a female Komodo dragon is ready to mate, she releases a scent in her feces to attract potential suitors. Once a male finds the female, he scratches her back and licks her body in a ritual. If she reciprocates, mating occurs. Once pregnant, females lay about 30 eggs, which they bury in the ground until they hatch about 8 months later. During the incubation period, the female may guard the nest to shield the eggs. However, there's little evidence of parental care for newly hatched Komodo dragons. These tiny hatchlings are highly vulnerable, often seeking refuge by climbing the nearest tree for safety. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there for hatchlings. Only the strongest survive, while the weakest often fall prey to predators, including adult Komodo dragons. What's more, these dragons have both male and female sex chromosomes, which means females can reproduce asexually through parthenogenesis. But here's the catch. This method produces only male offspring. If there aren't any breeding males around when a female is ready to mate, she might have sex with her own offspring. But this isn't the preferred way for Komodo dragons to reproduce. That's all for now. I suggest you check out the first part of my channel and subscribe so you don't miss anything.